In the peaceful village of Oboduku, there lived a beautiful girl named Adanna. Her beauty was known in many villages. Men traveled from far places just to see her. But Adanna had a problem. She believed no man in the village was good enough for her. Every Eke market day, young men came to her father's compound. A farmer came with yams, a hunter came with bushmeat, a palm wine tapper came with fresh palm wine. But Adanna would look at them and laugh. Is this the best my village can offer? I will only marry a rich man who lives in a big house. Her mother warned her many times. Adanna, my daughter, a good heart is better than riches. But Adanna refused to listen. Her father became worried. In those days, it was believed that pride could invite spirits into a person's destiny. One evening, an old woman in the village said something strange. The kind of husband this girl is looking for, I pray it is not a spirit that will answer her. But everyone laughed. No one knew the old woman was not joking. And far away in the deep forest, something had heard Adanna's words, something that was not human, and it decided to visit the village. One hot afternoon, during market day, a stranger entered the village. No one had ever seen him before. He was tall, handsome, well dressed, and behind him were servants carrying gifts: goats, bags of rice, clothes, palm oil, even gold ornaments. The entire village gathered. Who is this rich man? People whispered. The stranger smiled. My name is Obinna. I travel from distant lands. When Adanna saw him, her heart jumped. This was the kind of man she had been waiting for. Handsome, rich, mysterious. He spoke politely to her parents. I have come to marry your daughter. Her parents were shocked, but the gifts were too many to refuse. The whole village celebrated. Drums were beating, food was cooked, wine flowed everywhere. She whispered to her friends, did I not tell you? My husband will be greater than all your husbands. But the old woman in the village watched quietly. Something about the man felt wrong, very wrong. His feet were too clean for someone who claimed to travel far, and his shadow, sometimes it moved strangely, but nobody noticed except the old woman. And the forest spirits were watching. After the wedding, Obinna took Adamma to his house, but his house was far from the village, very far. They walked until the trees became thick. The road became silent. No birds, no children, no farms, just forest. Adanna felt uneasy. Why do you live so far from people? She asked. Obinna smiled. Peace lives in quiet places. When they arrived, the house was beautiful, bigger than any house in the village. Adanna forgot her fear. This is perfect, she said happily. For the first few days, everything was good. Food was plenty, clothes were beautiful, but strange things began to happen. At night, Obinna would disappear. Sometimes she heard whispers outside. Sometimes the wind spoke like people. One night she woke up and noticed something terrifying. Her husband was not sleeping beside her. She stood quietly and followed a strange sound outside. Then she saw it. Her husband talking to shadows, creatures without faces, and his voice was not human anymore. Adana's blood ran cold. Her husband was not a man. Adana ran back into the house shaking. Her heart was beating loudly. "What have I done?" she whispered. The next morning, Obinna behaved like nothing happened. He smiled, he laughed, but now Adana was afraid. She watched him carefully. Days passed. Then one afternoon, she decided to search the house. Inside a forbidden room, she found strange things: bones, charms, animal skins, and a mirror that did not show her reflection. Instead, it showed Obinna's real form, a spirit of the forest. Her legs became weak. Suddenly, a voice spoke behind her. "You were not supposed to see that." She turned slowly. Obinna was standing there, but his eyes were no longer human. Adana started crying. "Please, let me go back to my parents." The spirit laughed, a deep, terrifying laugh. "You asked for a rich husband, and I came." From that day, Adana became a prisoner. The house was no longer beautiful. It was a cage. The forest spirit watched her. Days turned into weeks. She grew thinner, sadder. Regrets filled her heart. One night, an old woman appeared in her dream. It was the same woman from her village. "If you want to live, you must be brave." She told Adana a secret. The spirit was powerful in the forest, but weak when the first cock crowed her down. Adana waited many days for the right moment. Then one night, she ran through the forest, branches cutting her skin, spirits chasing behind her, voices calling her name. "Adana, you cannot escape." She kept running, running, running until she heard it, the sound of a rooster. The forest suddenly became quiet. The spirit disappeared. She collapsed on the ground crying, and when she looked up, she was near her village, alive. When Adana returned home, the village people were shocked. She was no longer proud, no longer arrogant, just a quiet woman who had learned a lesson, a hard lesson. She told everyone her story. From that day, parents use her story to warn their children. Do not let pride choose your destiny. And sometimes at night, people say a voice can still be heard from the forest calling her name. But Adana never answered again. Moral of the story: pride can lead a person into danger, but wisdom and humanity can bring them back.